Hey everyone, welcome to today's live edition of News with Tom Numbers, and I've got a major decode for you today. You can hear the music in the background, and it's from Interstellar, and there's a famous part in the film where Murph, 76 magic wand, 76 Thomas, Cooper's daughter, tells him to stay. And I'm going to do the numbers on that today. And it's pretty potent. It's off the charts, actually. So all of this has been coded. As I've been telling you, everything's been coded. So I want to, here we go. I want you to listen to this.
I figured out the message. One word. You know what it is? Stay. It says stay, Jack. Look at the books. Look at this. It says stay. Why? You're not listening. It says stay.
So she says, it says stay. What does it says stay come to? It is 29, which is Diana, which is on. Says is 64, which is Tenet, which is Zion, which is Israel, which is Jubilee, and stay is 65, which is doves. It says stay. She emphasizes that it says stay. That comes to 158, which comes to remember, which also comes to the Julian calendar, and it also comes to reset the calendar. It also comes to Boris Johnson, and he's the one that told us to remember, or well, not remember, but he said, he told us about the coronavirus puzzle. Coronavirus puzzle is 261, which is November 22nd, JFK's date in 63. It's also August 31st, which is Diana's date in 97. And it's also August 29th, 1997, which is the date in Terminator. 261 is also the Project Looking Glass. It's a number of things. So I'm going to let you listen to this again because we're going to go through each line of what she says. Okay, here we go. So this is Murph. There you go. That's Murph and her dad, Cooper. And from Interstellar. Okay, here we go.
I figured out the message. One word. You know what it is? Stay. It says stay, Jack. Look at the books. Look at this. It says stay. Why? You're not listening. It says stay. I figured out the message.
Okay, so she says, I figured out the message. And what would that be? Okay, I figured out the message. I is 9, which is ace, which is also dad, and she tells her dad to stay. Figured is 70, which is secret. So I figured, that comes to 79, which is super, which is wonder, which is the dove. Out is 56, which is light. So it's I figured out. And then the is 33. Message is 69. Checkmate, people, financial wealth. I figured out the message comes to 237. 237 comes to a few things, but it also comes to, particularly for this film, because it's set in space, it's 237 million miles, apparently, from Earth to the moon. It's the moon, isn't it? Not 200. 37,000 miles to the moon. I believe that's what it is. I don't think it's million, 237 million. No, it's 237,000 miles to the moon. Moon Room with Kubrick, with The Shining, which was on the other day. I actually met Jan Harlan, who's the exec producer on that. He was the brother-in-law of Stanley Kubrick, Christiana's brother. Okay, so she says, I figured out the message, and then she says one word. One is 34, which is DJ, T, which is leap, which is grace, which is kick. The other Nolan film talks about the kick in Inception to wake you up through the dream levels. That's what's happening. Every 3 years is a leap year, a kick year, and that's what's happening. We're waking up through the dream levels. Word is 60. So one word is 94, which comes to November. That's when the election is next year. It comes to Ace of Spades, and it comes to Third Eye. It comes to John. So if you do, I figured out the message, Third Eye. Sorry, I figured out the message, one word, comes to 331. Then she says, know what it is. And know what it is 172, which comes to hyperinflation. And I think that's all connected because level playing field is 176, which is November the 5th. And I feel that there will be hyperinflation that gets all the gold into the system. I think that's the most elegant way to do it. And I think it's all tied around that date. Then she says, then she says, know what it is. So know what is 115. 115 is 11/5, which is November 5th. But when she says know what it is, 172, add the, so if you do, I figured out the message, one word, know what it is, that all comes to 503, which comes to 355, remember the 5th of November, Parliament Square, Westminster, leaves you with the remaining figure of 148. 148 is Donald J. Trump, 148 is simple gematria. Or you can do 310, which is the day of the year of next year's election, 310. 310 is the quantum financial system. 310 is the scriptural reference, Malachi 3:10 to Nasara Jasara, windows of heaven. Heaven is 55. Windows is currency, 107. Trump's is 107. Atonement, 107. Superman, 107. Military, 107. But it leaves you with 310 plus 193. 193 is on-demand liquidity. It's not a number I talk about much, but 193 is on-demand liquidity. Or you can be left with 309, the shot heard around the world. Ordinarily, November 5th is on day 309 of the year. But it's a leap year next year, so it'll be 310. But 309, the shot heard around the world, leaves you with 194. 194 is September 11th. It's also 11th. Sorry, it's also 5th of the 11th is 194. It's also a New Yorker hotel, which is 194. And 194 is an important person's name as well. Excuse me. Then she says stay again. Stay is 65, which is doves. Oh, it's the number 7 when you spell it out. It's also the number 15. It says stay dad. It says stay dad comes to 167, which is 24. So first of all, she says it says stay. Well, you'll hear it later. It says stay dad, and then she repeats it. It says stay. So it says stay is 158, which is remember. It says stay dad is 167. President Trump came down the escalators on the 167th day of the year. 167 is it's actually the New Yorker. The New Yorker is 167, but 167 is 24. Okay, so 24 comes to 167. And if you're not a subscriber, get in, click subscribe. You can watch the rest of the show because we've got a whole bunch of other decodes to go through the rest of it. And I think this will be really valuable for you. So, okay. She then says, you don't believe me. And that comes to 192. 192 comes to Governor's Island. 192 comes to Ivanka Marie Trump. 192 also has a connection, I think, with the RV. But 192, yeah, you don't believe me. Then there's the apostrophe, which is 133. 133 is government, which is simulation. White House, Isle of Wight. But you don't believe me comes to 192, which comes to, as I said, Governor's Island, or I should have said that, Governor's Island. So Governor's Island, if you don't know this, on, I think it was June or July 4th of 2020, Steve Bannon is there with a member of the new Chinese Republic, and they read out a declaration on a jetty of Governor's Island with the Statue of Liberty right behind them. Statue of Liberty is 198, President Trump, the resurrection, 198. The full name of Statue of Liberty is Liberty Enlightening the World, which is 320, which is John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., 320. The 300, if the days of darkness start, if the 10 days of darkness start on November 5th next year, that will take you to November 15th. November 15th is the 320th day of the year. Next year on the leap year. So there's some codes there. Oh, the other thing as well about 172, the previous one, I know what that is. Sorry, know what it is. 172. That's also Hudson River, I believe. Yeah, the Hudson River. I think that's right. Let me do that. Which is all connected to where the Governor's Island is. So you've got Governor's Island. That wash of water is all the Hudson River because it comes out into Hudson River, Hudson Bay. HUDSON. Hang on. Is it Hudson Bay, Hudson River? No, sorry, I'm running ahead of myself. That's 153, which is Interstellar, Hudson Bay. Yeah. Okay. So, Governor's Island 192. Then she says this. She says, who moved the books? And that comes to 200, which comes to Westminster Abbey, comes to Mount Rushmore, like a thief in the night. Now, people that know my story know that I got my first decode in this area in New York. So New York and Westminster, they're connected galactically on this board. Okay. And 118 is the awakening. 118, January 18th is Paul's birthday, who's my cousin that passed. Paul Bushnell was 143, November 5th. And that's where I got my first code, a couple of days after I met 192, Ivanka Marie Trump. And you have to go past the water between Governor's Island and the Statue of Liberty. So it's, everything's all there on the board. Excuse me. I've got a frog in my throat here. Okay, so who moved the books? That was it. So bookcase. So my channel is called Psych Club. That's my first channel. That's my one on YouTube. Psych, PSYCH, is 71, which is a mirror of 17, which is Q. If you do 71 plus 17, it comes to 88 Trump. You have to travel 88 miles per hour for time travel. 88 is purple, Scotland, Edinburgh, Copenhagen, Budapest, lots of other things. 88 constellations in the sky, in the night sky. But bookcase is also 71. And at the end of Interstellar, Cooper is talking to his daughter via a tesseract, a 5-dimensional tesseract or a 4-dimensional tesseract, trying to communicate with her. His future self's communicating with her through Morse code with dropping books off the bookcase. And she says, oh, you and my ghost. And ghost is 69, which is people, which is checkmate, which is wealth. And it's also night, like night, knight in shining armor. But it's also Dallas. Yeah. Was it Texas? One of them 69. But yeah, he's talking through the Tesseract. He's talking through that conduit, and he's telling her to stay. So he knows what happens. He knows the repercussions of his actions. But he's trying to save the world, so it's a catch-22 decision for him. But she's telling him to stay because the code that he'd sent through the bookcase is telling her to stay, which is his future self, because he knows what the repercussions will be. But the bookcase is 71, which is Psych, which is Lady Diana 71. So my channel, Bookcase Club, Psych Club 109. So there's another connection with it all. Let's listen to her talking again. Let's listen to the message again. Yeah. So yeah, she says, who moved the bookcase? Then she says, who did this? That comes to 119, which is Nikola Tesla, which is redemption, which is a mirror of 9/11. And then she says, it says stay, again, which is 158, which is remember. So it takes you back to the whole thing of next year's election. And then she says, why you can't listening. She blurs the words, but it's actually beautifully coded. Why you can't listening. It says stay. Okay, let's listen to this again. So here we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah.
I figured out the message.
I figured out the message.
One word.
One word.
Know what it is?
Know what it is?
Stay.
Stay.
It says stay, Dad.
It says stay, Dad. You don't believe me.
Look at the books.
Look at the books. Look at this. It says stay. Why are you not listening? It says stay.
I figured out the message.
I figured out the message.
One word.
One word.
Stay.
Stay.
It
It says stay, Dad. You don't believe me.
Look at the books. Look at this. It says
Who moved the books? Look at this. It says stay.
You're not listening. Stay.
Why you can't listening? It says stay. Okay, so that last paragraph, well, that last sentence of hers, she says, why you can't listening? So Y is 56, which is light. U is 61, which is miracle. Can't is 38, which is gold, which is change. Listening is 109. 109 is Psych Club, Dana Spencer, 17. And then it says stay again is 158. Remember. But you add those together, that comes to 422, which is a mirror reflection of 224, which is 2024 next year. But then you add the apostrophe because she says why you can't. So can't has an apostrophe in there. And actually, if you do can't 38, which is gold, add 133, which is simulation, which is government, which is White House. That comes to 171, which is a bolt of lightning, which is the revaluation, the River Thames. But if you do why you can't listening, it says stay 422 plus 133. Guess what that comes to? It comes to 555, which is a perfect, beautiful number. 555 comes to 355, which is remember the 5th of November, plus 200, which is Westminster Abbey, which is Mount Rushmore. And it also comes to 245, which is currency revaluation, 245, the pure love of Christ, 245, Thomas Sidney Bushnell 245 plus 310, which is the quantum financial system, which comes to 555. So why you can't listening, it says stay, plus the apostrophe comes to 555, which comes to remember the 5th of November, Westminster Abbey, or even Parliament Square, Westminster Abbey, and or 245 actually comes to Kansas City, Missouri 245. But 245, currency revaluation, 245, Thomas Sidney Bushnell 245, the pure love of Christ 245, plus 310, which is the quantum financial system. So currency revaluation, the quantum financial system comes to 555. And then the very last thing she says again, she says it says stay, which is 158, which is remember. So if you do why you can't listening, it says stay, plus the apostrophe 555. It says stay, again repeated. That comes to 713, which is 555 plus 158. And if you want to go to 888, the super powerful wealth resurrection number, spirituality number, it leaves you with a remaining figure of 175, which is consciousness, which is millennium will, which is Diana Francis Spencer. Everything's been coded. Everything's been coded. Let's have a listen again.
I figured out the message.
I figured out the message. One word. Know what it is?
Stay.
Stay.
It says
Stay, Dad. You don't believe
Look
me.
at the books.
Look at the
Look at
books.
this. It says
Look
stay.
at this.
Why
It
you're
says
not listening? Stay. I figured out the message.
There you go, everyone. Yeah. Incredible, hey? Everything's coded for that date. Everything's coded. I think I'm going to start doing some codes on this. I got this book through. Trump, the Art of the Deal. Art of the Deal is 115, which is November 5th. The Art of the Deal is 148, which is Donald J. Trump. Simple gematria. Yeah. It's coming, people. They're going to push us right to the wire to expand our consciousness, to break out of this time loop that we're in. So, all right, everyone. Thanks a lot. Much love. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Yeah. Take care.